Hi there, I'm Ben Robinson, the Children's and Teen Services Librarian at the Guelph Public Library, and welcome to another episode of There's a Book for That. This is where we tell you all about what people are asking for these days when it comes to kids' books, different topics, and try to show you that in most cases there's a book to help you with whatever you're thinking about or dealing with or whatever your family needs. Some people have been asking about LGBTQ plus friendly books for children, and we have lots of them. We have, for example, one person asked about books about same-sex marriage. A book called Worm Loves Worm is a great one. It's been quite popular over the years. Kind of a classic is the Patricia Polacco In Our Mother's House. And we have lots more, but a brand new one is Uncle Bobby's Wedding, about a girl who, it's about the marriage of her uncle, but it's also about how she feels that maybe they won't be as close as they were now that he's getting married. We also have lots of books about gender identity. For example, A House for Everyone. Another critically acclaimed one from the last couple of years was When Aiden Became a Brother. And if you're thinking about more from the how schools and how kids think about and talk about gender identity, Phoenix Goes to School, based on a true story, could be a really good one to read. We also have picture books. And of course chapter books and young adult as well, but we also have board books. Just because board books are for the youngest of readers doesn't mean that they don't talk about important topics. So I encourage you to check these out. Something else that people have asked about recently is picture books that have a non-fiction element to them. Most of the ones I wanted to show you today are checked out, like Out of the Woods by Michael Bond, but here's a couple good ones. Earthrise, the true story of the first picture of Earth taken in space. Great story by James Gladstone. This is a very unique one I've talked about a lot in the last 2 years. When Spring Comes to the DMZ. DMZ being the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. A great story of an old man who yearns to be able to go through the 2-mile wide, hundreds of miles long stretch of land where flora and fauna have come back, but where no people are allowed to go. Very touching story. So those are some books where you'll learn something as well as the story is told in a narrative fashion. And lastly, people have asked for some books about music, specifically classical music. Here are some books about different kinds of music. This is by Rockwood author Kathy Stinson, The Man with the Violin, about a boy who really takes note of the local street performer, even though his mom's trying to rush off. So he really enjoys the music and tries to see what the person's trying to express. If you're into Laurie Berkner, Pillowland, a picture book adaptation of her song, was probably a good one. We actually have lots of books about interpretations of songs. There's a couple Bob Dylan ones, a few John Lennon ones, Bob Marley, John Denver even. So I encourage you to check those out. And lastly, one of my favorite books of last year, A Fox Found a Box. It's all about a bunch of animals who stumble upon a radio in the middle of the woods and have no idea what it is. Perhaps your children don't know what a radio is. These days, analog stuff is a little more not as normal as it was. So they turn it on and music comes through and they dance and then they get used to it and love it. And then one day it stops working. And then they realize, well, you know what? Actually, I don't want to spoil the ending. It's a great book, very cute, and you can kind of play music along with it to pretend the radio is coming alive while you're reading it. So those are some great books I encourage you to check out today.